While the Trojans took up the cry across the town, the Greeks withdrew to their ships by the Hellespont, and then dispersed, each man to his own ship. The Myrmidons alone were not dismissed. Achilles kept his war-loving companions with him and addressed them. "Myrmidons, with your swift horses, faithful companions. We will not unyoke our horses from their chariots yet, but, mounted as we are, we'll drive them past Patroclus and mourn for him. That is the honour due to the dead. Then, when we have drawn some comfort from our bitter tears, we will unyoke the horses and eat together here." So he spoke, and the Myrmidons all broke into lamentation together. Achilles led them, and 3 times in tears they drove their lovely maned horses round the dead, while Thetis stirred in them all the desire to weep. The sands were wet with tears, and their armour was wet with tears, so great a master of the rout had they lost. Now the son of Peleus, laying his man-slaying hands on his companion's chest, led them in the loud dirge. "Farewell and rejoice, Patroclus, even in the halls of Hades. I am now keeping all the promises I made you. I have dragged Hector's body here for the dogs to eat raw, and at your pyre I am going to cut the throats of 12 splendid sons of Troy, to vent my anger at your death." He spoke, and foully maltreated godlike Hector, flinging him down on his face in the dust by Patroclus' bier. His warriors then took off their gleaming bronze armour, unyoked their proud snorting horses, and sat down in their multitudes by the ship of swift-footed Achilles, who had provided for them a magnificent funeral feast. Many a white ox fell bellowing to the iron knife. Many a sheep and bleating goat was slaughtered, and many a fine fat hog with gleaming tusks was stretched across the flames to have its bristles singed. Blood in cupfuls was poured all around the body. Meanwhile, Lord Achilles, swift-footed son of Peleus, was taken by the Greek leaders to godlike Agamemnon, though it had been hard to persuade him, still enraged as he was for his companion. When they reached Agamemnon's hut, they told the clear-voiced heralds to stand a great 3-legged cauldron over the fire in the hope of inducing Achilles to wash the congealed blood from his body. But he blankly refused, and swore a great oath as well. "By Zeus, highest and best of the gods, never shall I permit any water to come near me till I have cremated Patroclus, made him a grave mound, and shorn my hair, since however long I live, I shall never suffer again as I am suffering now. But for the moment, though I hate the thought of food, we have to eat, and at dawn, Agamemnon, lord of men, order wood to be collected and everything to be provided that a dead man ought to have with him when he travels under the western gloom, so that Patroclus can be consumed by the unflagging fire as soon as possible, and the men return to their duties when he is gone." So he spoke, and they heard and complied. They hurriedly prepared the food and ate it, and no one went without a fair share. Their hunger and thirst satisfied, they returned, each to his hut, to sleep. But the son of Peleus, groaning heavily, lay down on the shore of the sounding sea among his many Myrmidons, in an open space where the waves were surging onto the beach. His splendid limbs were exhausted from chasing Hector towards windswept Ilium, but no sooner had he fallen into sleep's sweet embrace, resolving all his cares, than he was visited by the ghost of poor Patroclus, looking and talking exactly like the man himself, with the same stature, the same lovely eyes, and the same clothes as those he used to wear. It stood over his head and said, "You are asleep. You have forgotten me, Achilles. You did not neglect me in life, you do in death. Bury me as quickly as possible, and let me pass the gates of Hades. I am kept out by the spirits, the images of the dead, who refuse to let me cross the river and join them, but leave me to wander forlornly up and down on this side of Hades' halls with its wide gates. And give me your hand, I beg you, for once you have passed me through the flames, I shall never come back again from Hades. Never again in life will you and I sit down together out of earshot of our men to scheme our schemes, for I have been swallowed up by the dreadful doom that must have been my lot from birth. And it is your destiny too, godlike Achilles, to perish under the rich Trojans' walls. Something else now, one more request. Do not let them bury my bones apart from yours, Achilles. Let them lie together, just as you and I grew up together in your house, after my father Menoetius brought me there as a child from Opous, because of the disastrous homicide I committed when I killed Amphidamas' son by accident in a childish quarrel over a game of knucklebones. The charioteer Peleus welcomed me to his palace, brought me up with loving care, and appointed me to be your attendant. So let the one container, the golden two-handled vessel your lady mother gave you, hold our bones. Swift-footed Achilles replied to him and said, Dearest Patroclus, why did you come and make these requests of me? Of course I will see to everything and do exactly as you command, but come nearer to me now, so that we can hold each other in our arms, if only for a moment, and draw some comfort from our bitter tears. With these words, he held out his arms, but embraced nothing. Like smoke, the spirit vanished underground, gibbering. Achilles was amazed and sprang to his feet. He beat his hands together in his desolation and cried, So it is true. Something of us does survive in Hades' halls, some spirit and image of a man, but without real existence, since all night long the spirit of poor Patroclus has been standing at my side weeping and wailing. It told me what to do and looked marvellously like him. So he spoke, and stirred in them all the desire to weep, and rosy-fingered Dawn found them still in tears around the pitiable dead. Meanwhile, Lord Agamemnon sent mules and men from every part of the camp to fetch wood. Noble Meriones, amiable Idomeneus' attendant, took charge. The men carried woodsmen's axes in their hands together with well-woven ropes, and the mules walked ahead of them, uphill and downhill, crossing and zigzagging. They came at last to the spurs of Mount Ida, with its many springs. There they set to work with a will, felling tall oaks with their long-bladed axes, and trees came crashing down. The Greeks split the logs, then roped them to the mules, which furrowed up the ground with their hooves in their eagerness to get down to the plain through the tangled undergrowth. The woodcutters too all carried logs, by order of Meriones, amiable Idomeneus' attendant. When they reached the shore, they laid them down in rows at the spot where Achilles planned to build a great grave mound for Patroclus and himself. Having stacked this huge supply of wood all round the site, they sat down and waited there all together. Achilles then gave orders for his war-loving Myrmidons to put on their bronze armour, and every charioteer to yoke his horses. They hurried off and got into their armour, and the fighting men and charioteers mounted their chariots. The charioteers led off, and after them came a cloud of infantry one could not count. In the middle of the procession, Patroclus was carried by his companions, clothing his body with the locks of their hair that they cut off and placed on it. Behind them, god-like Achilles supported the head, grieving. He was dispatching his matchless companion to Hades' halls. When they reached the place appointed for them by Achilles, they put Patroclus down and quickly built up a sufficient quantity of wood. But then swift-footed, godlike Achilles had an idea. Stepping back from the pyre, he cut from his head an auburn lock he had allowed to grow ever since its dedication to the river Spercheius. Back at home, angrily he spoke, looking out over the wine-dark sea. Spercheius, there was no point in my father Peleus praying to you and promising that, on my homecoming from Troy, I should cut off this lock for you, and make you a holy offering of 50 rams, sacrificed by your very waters, where you have a precinct and smoking altar. That was my old father's prayer, but you have denied him what he prayed for, so now, since I shall never see the dear land of my fathers again, I will give this lock to the warrior Patroclus to take with him instead. With these words, he placed the lock in the hands of his beloved companion and stirred in them all the desire to weep. Sunset would have found them still lamenting if Achilles had not quickly gone up to Agamemnon and said, Agamemnon, son of Atreus, you are the man the troops will listen to. Of course, they can mourn as much as they wish, but for the moment dismiss the men from the pyre and tell them to prepare food. We, who are the chief mourners, will see to everything here. But I should like the Greek commanders to remain. When Agamemnon, lord of men, heard this, he dismissed the troops to their ships, but the mourners stayed where they were and piled up the wood. They made a pyre 30 meters in length and breadth, and with sorrowful hearts laid the body on top. At the foot of the pyre they skinned and prepared many fat sheep and shambling cattle with crooked horns. Great-hearted Achilles, taking fat from all of them, covered Patroclus's body with it from head to foot, and then piled up the flayed carcasses around the body. Then, to accompany the spirit on its journey, he added 2 handled jars filled with honey and oil, propping them up against the bier, and impetuously threw 4 high-necked horses onto the pyre, groaning aloud as he did so. Lord Patroclus had kept 9 dogs as pets. Achilles slit the throats of 2 of these and threw them on the pyre as well. He carried out his murderous plan for the 12 noble sons of great-hearted Trojans, and put them to the sword, then unleashed fire's pitiless might to devour everything. This done, he gave a groan and called on his beloved companion. Farewell and rejoice, Patroclus, even in the halls of Hades. I am now keeping all the promises I made you. 12 noble sons of great-hearted Trojans will be consumed by the same fire as you. For Hector, son of Priam, I have other plans. I will not give him to the flames. I will throw him to the dogs to eat. So defiantly he spoke, but the dogs never did swarm around Hector's corpse. Day and night, Zeus's daughter Aphrodite kept them off, and she anointed the body with ambrosial oil of roses, so that Achilles should not lacerate it when he dragged Hector up and down. Moreover, Phoebus Apollo caused a dark cloud to sink from the sky and settle on the body, covering the whole area in which it lay, so that the heat of the sun should not wither the skin on his sinews and limbs too soon. Patroclus's pyre then refused to catch, but swift-footed godlike Achilles had an idea. Standing clear of the pyre, he prayed and promised magnificent sacrifices to the two winds, Boreas from the north and Zephyr from the west. He poured many a libation from a golden cup and implored them to come, so that the wood might start to burn and the bodies quickly be cremated. Iris heard his prayers and sped off to convey his message to the winds, who were all feasting together at a banquet in Zephyr's draughty house. Iris came running up and stood on their stone threshold. When they saw her, they all leapt to their feet and invited her to come and sit beside him. But she refused their offers and said, "I have no time to sit down. I must get back to Ocean's streams and the Ethiopians' land, where they are entertaining the immortals at a sacrificial banquet I am anxious not to miss. But Achilles is praying to you, Boreas and roaring Zephyr, and promising you magnificent sacrifices if you will come and light the pyre under the body of Patroclus, for whom the whole Greek army is mourning." With these words Iris left, and the two winds rose with a terrifying roar, driving the clouds before them. In a moment they were out at sea, blowing hard and raising the waves with their shrill blasts. When they came to the fertile land of Troy, they fell upon the funeral pyre, and the fire blazed up with a terrific roar. Howling round the pyre, they helped each other all night long to fan the flames, and all night long swift Achilles, using a two-handled cup with which he drew wine off from a golden mixing bowl, poured out libations, drenched the earth with wine, and called on the spirit of poor Patroclus. As a father weeps when he is burning the bones of a son who has died, newly married, and left his poor parents inconsolable, so Achilles wept as he burned his companion's bones, dragging himself round the pyre with many a deep groan. At the time when the morning star comes up to herald a new day on earth, and saffron-robed dawn spreads over the sea, then the fire sank low, the flames expired, and the winds set out for home across the Thracian sea, whipping up its waves and making it roar. Achilles was exhausted. Turning from the pyre, he sank to the ground, and sweet sleep overwhelmed him. But the other commanders, under Lord Agamemnon, now gathered around him. Woken by their voices and footsteps, he sat up, got to his feet, and spoke his mind. "Agamemnon, and you other leaders of the Greek forces, first use sparkling wine to put out whatever is still burning. Then we must collect Patroclus' bones, being careful to distinguish them, though that will not be difficult. He was placed in the centre of the pyre, separate from the rest, who were burnt round the edges of it, horses and men together. Then we must wrap the bones in a fold of fat for protection, and put them in a golden vase against the time when I myself shall have vanished to the world below. As for his grave mound, I ask you not to construct a very large one, but just something moderate. Later you can build a great tall one, you Greeks that are left, in your many-benched ships when I am gone." So he spoke, and they did as Achilles had directed. First they put out with sparkling wine whatever was still burning, and the deep ash fell in. Then, weeping, they collected the white bones of their gentle companion in a golden vessel, and wrapped them in a fold of fat, laid the vessel in his hut, and covered it with a fine linen cloth. For his grave mound, they drew a circle round the pyre, and set round it a base of stones. Then they fetched earth and piled it up over. When the troops had built the monument, they prepared to leave, but Achilles stopped them and made the whole assembly sit down for Patroclus's funeral games. For these he brought out prizes from the ships, cauldrons and tripods, horses, mules, a fine head of cattle, grey iron and well-girdled women. The first event was a chariot race, for which he laid out the following splendid prizes. For the winner, a woman skilled in arts and crafts, and a tripod with handles holding 22 measures. For the runner-up, a mare 6 years old and not broken in, with a little mule in her womb. For third, a fine cauldron holding 4 measures, untarnished by the flames and still as bright as ever. For fourth, 2 talents of gold, and for fifth, a 2-handled pan as yet untouched by fire. Achilles stood up and addressed the Greeks. Agamemnon and you other Greek men-at-arms, these are the prizes that await the charioteers in this contest. Of course, if we Greeks were competing in the honour of some other man, I would walk off to my hut with first prize. You don't need me to tell you how vastly superior my horses are, being immortal and a present from Poseidon to my father Peleus, who passed them on to me. But I and my horses will not compete. They have lost so great and glorious a charioteer. How kind Patroclus was to them, always washing them down with clean water and grooming their manes with olive oil. No wonder they stand there and grieve for him. Their manes trail on the ground, and in their sorrow they refuse to move. However, any other Greek in the whole army who believes in his horses and finely built chariot should come forward. So spoke Achilles, son of Peleus, and the swift charioteers quickly formed a group. The first to spring to his feet was Admetus's son Eumelus, lord of men, who was an excellent horseman. Next, mighty Diomedes, son of Tydeus, who yoked the horses of the breed of Tros that he had taken earlier from Aeneas on the occasion when Apollo saved Aeneas's life. Then auburn-haired Olympian-born Menelaus, son of Atreus, who yoked a fast pair, Ethe, a mare of Agamemnon's, and his own horse, Podargus. Ethe had been presented to Agamemnon by Echepolus, son of Anchises, on condition that he need not go with him to windswept Ilium, but could stay at home in comfort. Zeus had given him great wealth, and he lived in spacious Sicyon. This was the mare that Menelaus yoked. She was champing to be off. The fourth man to harness his lovely maned horses was Antilochus. He was the glorious son of great-hearted Lord Nestor, son of Neleus, and his chariot horses had been bred at home in Pylos. His father Nestor now went up to him and spoke to him with the very best of intentions, though Antilochus knew his business well enough himself. Antilochus, young as you are, Zeus and Poseidon are on your side, and they have taught you all the skills of driving horses, so there is no great need for me to teach you any more. But expert as you are at cornering round the turning post, your horses are very slow, and therefore I expect the worst. Yet, even if the other pairs are faster, their drivers do not have the judgment that you do. So you must rely, my dear son, on the judgment you can bring to bear if you do not wish to say goodbye to the prizes. It is judgment rather than muscle that makes the best woodcutter. Judgment again enables a steersman to keep a straight course over the wine-dark sea when his ship is being buffeted by the wind. And it is judgment that one charioteer beats another. The man who stupidly leaves too much to his chariot and pair does not take the correct line at the turn. His horses wander, and he does not keep them tucked in. But the intelligent charioteer, though behind a slower pair, always has his eye on the post and turns tightly round it. He knows the right time to use the oxhide reins and give his horses their head. He keeps them firmly in hand and watches the man in front. Now let me tell you something to look out for. It is obvious enough, you cannot miss it. There is a dead tree stump, an oak or pine, standing near 2 meters high. It has not rotted in the rain, and it is flanked by 2 white stones. The track narrows at this point, but the going is good on either side of this monument, which either marks an ancient burial or must have been put up as a turning post by people of an earlier age. In any case, it is the mark swift-footed godlike Achilles has chosen as the turning post for this race. As you drive round it, keep your team close to it and lean in your chariot just a little to the left yourself. Call on your outside horse, touch him with the whip, and give him rein, but make the inside horse hug the post so close, almost to scrape it with the hub of your wheel. But avoid touching the stone, or you may injure the horses and wreck the chariot, which would delight the rest but not stand to your credit. So use your wits, my dear son, and be on the alert. For if you could overtake them at the turning post, no one could catch you up or pass you with a sudden burst, not even if he were coming up behind you with Adrestus' swift horse, the divine Arion, who was sired by a god, or the horses of Laomedon, the best that Troy has bred. With these words, Nestor, son of Neleus, went back to his seat after he had explained the essential points to his son. Meriones was the 5th to get his lovely maned horses ready, and now they all mounted their chariots and threw their lots into a helmet, which Achilles shook. The first lot to jump out was that of Antilochus, son of Nestor. Then came that of Lord Eumelus, followed by that of Atreus' son, the great spearman Menelaus. Meriones drew the 4th starting place, and the last fell to Diomedes, the best charioteer of them all. They drew up side by side, and Achilles pointed out the turning post, far away on level ground. He had posted godlike Phoenix, his father's attendant, as the umpire up there, to keep an eye on the running and report what happened. At one and the same moment they all gave their horses the whip, shook the reins on their backs, and set them going with a sharp word of command. The horses raced at speed across the plain and soon left the ships behind. The dust that rose from underneath their chests hung in the air like a storm cloud or a fog, and their manes streamed back in the wind. At one moment, the chariots were in contact with the bountiful earth, and at the next bounding high in the air. The drivers stood up in their chariots, and every man's heart was pounding with the desire for victory. They each yelled at their horses, who flew along in a cloud of dust. But it was not till their speedy teams were on the final stretch, heading back to the grey sea, that each man showed his true ability and forced the pace. The fast mares of Eumelus now surged ahead, but Diomedes' stallions of the breed of Tros stayed close behind, and there was very little in it. They looked as though at any moment they might leap into Eumelus' chariot. They were flying along with their heads just over him, warming his back and broad shoulders with their breath. In fact, Diomedes would have overhauled Eumelus then and there, or made it a dead heat, if Phoebus Apollo, who was still angry with Tydeus' son, had not knocked the shining whip out of his hand. That's cheating. Tears of frustration poured down Diomedes' face as he saw Eumelus' mares pulling away and his own horses slowing down in the absence of the whip. But Apollo did not get away with it. Athene spotted him foiling Diomedes. She sped up after that shepherd of the people, gave him back his whip, and put fresh spirit into his horses. In her fury, she chased after Eumelus too, and used her powers as a goddess to smash the yoke of his chariot, with the result that his mares ran free off on their own, and the shaft slipped to the ground, while Eumelus himself was flung out of the chariot and came down by the wheel. Is it really cheating if the gods are doing it, though? The skin was ripped off his elbows, mouth, and nose. Ooh. His forehead was bruised, his eyes filled with tears, and any word stuck in his throat. Meanwhile, Diomedes swept round the wreckage with his horses, having left the others well behind. Athene filled his pair with strength and ensured his victory. That is cheating, though. Next, after Diomedes, came auburn-haired Menelaus, Atreus' son, and next again Antilochus, who was shouting at his father's horses. "Run on, you two! Give it everything now! I'm not asking you to catch that pair ahead, or like Diomedes' horses. Athene has just given them a new turn of speed and won him the glory. But catch Menelaus' pair and don't get left behind by them. Quick! Or the horse Ethe will pour scorn all over you. And she a mare! Why are you hanging back, my fine horses? I tell you bluntly, and I mean it. No more of Nestor's tender loving care for you. He'll slit your throats without a moment's hesitation if you take it easy and leave us with the smaller prize. So get after them, come on, flat out. Trust me to find some way of slipping past Menelaus where the track is narrow. I shan't miss my chance." So he spoke, and his horses, taking their master's threat to heart, put on speed for a while. Well, yeah, no, they don't want their throats slit. Very soon, warlike Antilochus saw a place where the sunken track grew narrow. It ran through a gully. Water piled up by the winter rains had carried part of it away and deepened the whole pass. Menelaus was picking a course through it, making it difficult for anyone to come alongside. But Antilochus steered off the track altogether and gave chase along a slight diversion. Menelaus was alarmed and shouted at him, "Antilochus, this is stupid driving. Slow down. The track is narrow here. There will soon be more room to pass. Watch out you don't hit my chariot and wreck us both." So he spoke, but Antilochus, pretending he had not heard him, laid it on with the whip and drove faster than ever. They both ran on for about the distance a discus will carry when a young man releases it with a swing of the arm to test his strength. Then Menelaus' pair gave way and fell back. He eased the pace himself on purpose, fearing the horses might collide on the track and tip over the light chariots, in which case their masters, through their eagerness to win, would find themselves rolling about in the dust. Auburn-haired Menelaus shouted abuse at him and said, "Antilochus, you are the most appalling driver in the world. Go to hell. We Greeks were mistaken to think you had any sense. You won't carry off the prize till you've answered on oath for this affair." With these words, Menelaus called out to his horses, "No holding back. Don't stand there feeling sorry for yourselves. That pair ahead of you will tire in the leg far sooner than you will. They are neither of them as young as they were." So he spoke, and his horses, taking their master's orders to heart, ran on more strongly and soon closed the gap on the other pair. Meanwhile, from their positions in the crowd, the Greeks were looking out for the horses as they flew along in a cloud of dust. Idomeneus, leader of the Cretans, was the first to see them. He was sitting well above the rest on high ground outside the crowd, and when he heard a charioteer urging on his horses in the distance, he knew the voice even from there. He also recognized one of the leading horses, which showed up well, being chestnut all over except for a round white patch, like the full moon, which it had on its forehead. Idomeneus stood up and called to the Greeks, "My friends, rulers and leaders of the Greeks, am I the only one who can see the horses, or do you see them too? It seems to me a new pair are leading, and the driver also looks different. Eumelus mares, who were ahead on the outward lap, must have come to grief out there on the plain. I certainly saw them leading at the turning post, and now I can't see them anywhere. Though I've searched the whole Trojan plain, perhaps Eumelus dropped his reins, could not hold his horses round the post, and failed to complete the turn. Yes, that's where he must have taken a fall and crashed his chariot, while his mares swerved off the track, panicked and bolted. But do get up and have a look for yourselves. I can't quite be sure, but the leading man looks like an Aetolian. An Aetolian to me? Yes, one of our Greek leaders, the son of horse-taming Tydeus, mighty Diomedes." Swift Ajax, son of Oileus, contradicted him rudely. "Idomeneus, why have you always been such a loudmouth? Those high-stepping mares out there have a long way to go yet, and you aren't by any means the youngest man among us, and you don't have the sharpest pair of eyes in your head either. Yet there you are, mouthing off as usual. There is absolutely no need for it. There are better men here. That pair in front is the same that led before, Eumelus's mares. And there's Eumelus in the chariot, reins in his hand." The leader of the Cretans was furious and replied, "Ajax, master of the insult, and so stupid. You've no equal in the army for sheer pig-headedness. Come on, let's have a bet, a tripod or a cauldron, about the leading pair, and make Agamemnon our referee. You'll learn the truth when you pay up." So he spoke, and swift Ajax, son of Oileus, rose in fury to retaliate with abuse, and the quarrel would have gone further still if Achilles himself had not leapt to his feet and spoken. "Ajax and Idomeneus, stop quarrelling and exchanging these disgraceful insults. It's not right. Excuse me. You would be the first to condemn anyone else who did it. Sit down in the crowd and keep your eyes on the horses. They'll soon be coming along, flat out for victory. Then each of you can recognize them for himself. Who's first and who's second?" So he spoke, and Diomedes was by now very close. He was driving with the whip, swinging his arm right back for every lash. His horses stepped high, speeding over the ground. Showers of dust fell on the driver all the time, and as the fast pair flew over the ground, the gold and tin-plated chariot came spinning after them, and scarcely left a tire mark on the fine dust behind. Diomedes drew up in the middle of the gathering, sweat pouring to the ground from his horses' necks and chest. He leapt down from his glittering chariot and leant his whip against the yoke. Mighty Sthenelus, his attendant, did not stand on ceremony, but promptly took possession of the prizes, giving the tripod with the handles to his exultant men and telling them to lead the woman off. Then he unyoked the horses. As he did so, Antilochus, son of Nestor, came in next. He had beaten Menelaus not by any turn of speed, but by his clever maneuver. Yet even so, Menelaus and his horses came in close behind. Picture the space that separates a horse from the wheel of a chariot when it is straining at the yoke and pulling its master over the plain. The tip of its tail keeps brushing the wheel rim, and as the wheel spins, there is hardly any gap between them, however far the horse runs over the flat. There was no more than that between Menelaus and matchless Antilochus. It is true that, at the time of the incident, Menelaus had been left as much as a discus throw behind. But he quickly made up the ground. Ethe, she was Agamemnon's lovely mare, had begun to show what she was made of. and in a longer race Menelaus would have overtaken Antilochus. There would have been no dispute about it. Meriones, Idomeneus' brave attendant, came in a spear throw behind famous Menelaus. His lovely maned horses were the slowest pair in the race, and he himself the least able driver. The last of them to arrive was Admetus' son, Eumelus. He was dragging his handsome chariot himself, and driving his horses on in front of him. When he saw this, swift-footed, godlike Achilles was sorry for the man. He stood up among the Greeks and spoke winged words. "The best driver of the lot has come in last. Let's give him a prize, as he deserves. Make it second, since Diomedes, of course, takes first." So he spoke, and everyone applauded the idea. Then Achilles, encouraged by the Greeks' applause, would have given the mare to Eumelus if Antilochus, son of great-hearted Nestor, had not leapt in front of him with an objection. "Achilles, I shall be extremely angry if you do as you suggest. You are proposing to rob me of my prize because Eumelus' chariot and horses came to grief, as did Eumelus himself. Excellent charioteer though he is, the fact is that he ought to have prayed to the immortal gods. Then he would never have come in last in the race. However, if you are sorry for the man and sympathetic to him, there is plenty of gold in your hut, and bronze and sheep, and you have female slaves too, and horses. Choose something out of these later on and give him an even larger prize than mine, or hand it to him here and now, and hear the troops applaud you. But I will not give up this mare. Anyone who wants to try can come and fight me for her with his fists." So he spoke, and swift-footed, godlike Achilles smiled. He had always liked his comrade in arms, Antilochus, and was delighted with him now. He replied and spoke winged words. "Antilochus, if you are telling me to find an extra prize from my store for Eumelus, I will do so. I will give him the body armour I took from Asteropaeus. It is made of bronze, decorated with bright tin overlay all round. It will be worth a great deal to him." He spoke, and told his companion Automedon to fetch the body armour from his hut. Automedon went and brought it to him, and Achilles handed it to Eumelus, who was delighted to have it. Now Menelaus got to his feet, and had by no means forgiven Antilochus, and was in an ugly mood. A herald handed to him the speaker's staff and called for silence. Then Menelaus, a godlike man, spoke up. "Antilochus, you used to be a very sensible fellow. Now see what you have done. By cutting in across me with your much slower pair, you have humiliated me and everything I stand for, and robbed my horses of a win. Rulers and leaders of Greeks, come, judge between the two of us impartially, without favour to either side, so that none of our warriors will be able to say, 'It was only by lying that Menelaus beat Antilochus and walked off with the mare. His horses really were much slower. It's his rank and power that bring him out on top.' No, on second thoughts I will settle the matter myself. I am not afraid of any Greek who will criticise me for it. It will be a straight deal. Olympian-born Antilochus, come forward here. As convention dictates, stand in front of your chariot and pair, holding the slender whip you earlier drove with. Touch your horses and swear in the name of Poseidon, the earth-shaker who encircles the world, that you did not obstruct my chariot with a deliberate foul." Sensible Antilochus replied, "Hold on now. I am a much younger man than you, Lord Menelaus, and you, my elder and better, know well enough how a young man can go too far. He thinks faster, but his judgment is not so sound. So bear with me. I myself will give you the mare I won. Moreover, you should ask for something better from my store. I would rather give it to you once than forever fall out of your favour, Olympian-born Menelaus, and be at fault in the eyes of the gods." Great-hearted Nestor's son spoke, led the mare over and handed her to Menelaus, whose heart was warmed like the dew that hangs on ears of corn when the fields bristle with a ripening crop. So, Menelaus, was your heart warmed? Menelaus addressed him and spoke winged words. Antilochus, it is my turn to yield. I cannot be angry with you now. You have never been impulsive or foolish before, though this was certainly a case where high spirits of youth got the better of discretion. But another time be careful not to play tricks on your betters. No other Greek would have found me so easy to placate. But you have endured a lot and worked hard on my behalf, and so has your excellent father and your brother Thrasymedes. I therefore accept your apology. And not only that, I will give you the mare, though she is mine, to show our countrymen here I'm not arrogant or inflexible. He spoke and handed over the mare to Noemon, one of Antilochus's men, to lead away, and himself took the gleaming cauldron. Meriones, who had come in fourth, took the 2 talents of gold. The 5th prize, the 2-handled pan, remained unclaimed. Achilles gave this to Nestor. He carried it across the gathering to him, stood by him and said, Here, venerable sir, is a keepsake for you. Let it remind you of Patroclus' funeral, for you will not see the man himself among us any more. I am giving you the prize, just like that, since you will not be boxing or wrestling or entering the foot race or javelin. Your years sit too heavily on you for that. With these words, Achilles put the prize in Nestor's hands. Nestor was delighted to receive it and addressed him and spoke winged words. Yes, my boy, you are quite right in all you say. My knees are gone. I am not so steady on my feet, dear friend, and I cannot throw rights and lefts as quickly as I used to. If only I were still a young man, and with all my powers intact, as I was when the Eleans buried Lord Amarynceus at Buprasium, and his sons held funeral games in his honour. There was not a man to match me there, from Elis, Pylos, or proud Aetolia. In the boxing I beat Clytomedes, son of Enops, and in the wrestling Anchius from Pleuron. Over distance I defeated Iphiclus, who was a fine athlete, and in the javelin I outthrew Phyleus and Polydorus too. It was only in the chariot race I was beaten by the 2 Moliones who used their 2-to-1 advantage to get in front. They begrudged me the victory, because the biggest prizes were reserved for this contest. They were twins, you see. All the way from start to finish, yes, all the way. One of them did the driving and the other wielded the whip. That's the kind of man I was. But now I must leave this sort of thing to younger men and take the painful lessons of old age to heart. But at that time I stood in a class by myself. It's a bit arrogant, man. Well, get on with honouring your companion in these funeral games. Meanwhile, I accept your gift with pleasure. I am delighted you always realise how well disposed I am to you, and never pass up the chance of paying me the respect I am rightly owed among the Greeks. May the gods reward you fully for what you have done. So he spoke, and after he had heard all that Nestor had to say by way of thanks, Achilles made his way through the great gathering of Greeks and brought out the prizes for the boxing, a dangerous sport. For the victor he fetched and tethered in the crowd a hard-working mule, a female 6 years old, and broken in, which is a hard job in the case of such animals. For the loser there was a 2-handled cup. Achilles stood up and addressed the Greeks. Agamemnon and you other Greek men-at-arms, these are the prizes for which we will now invite our 2 best men to square up to each other and box to a finish. The man blessed with endurance by Apollo, who comes off best in everyone's opinion here, can take this hard-working mule back to his hut. The loser will receive this 2-handled cup. So he spoke, and immediately Epeus, son of Panopeus, rose up, a fine, tall man and superb fighter. He put his hand on the hard-working mule and said, "Step forward, the man who wants to carry off the two-handled cup. I tell you the mule is mine, and nobody is going to knock me out and take her. I am the greatest. True, I'm not so good on the battlefield. No one can be a winner at everything. But isn't that enough? I tell you bluntly, and I mean it, I'm going to tear his flesh to ribbons and smash his bones. His family mourners had better be standing by to take him away when I've finished with him." So he spoke and was received in complete silence by them all. The only man who dared to take it up was Euryalus, a godlike man, the son of Mecisteus, whose father was Talaus. After Oedipus? Oh, shit me. After Oedipus had fallen, Mecisteus went to Thebes for the funeral games and there beat all the Thebans. His cousin, the great spearman Diomedes, bustled around Euryalus and gave him the warmest encouragement, because he very much wanted to see him win. First he helped him on with his loincloth, and then bound on his hands the well-cut ox-hide thongs. When the two men had kitted themselves out, they stepped into the middle of the gathering, put up their massive fists, and fell on each other. Heavy blows were exchanged, cheekbones cracked fearfully, and the sweat began to pour off them. Then, as Euryalus was looking for an opening, godlike Epeius, leaping in, caught him on the cheek. Euryalus remained upright no longer, and his whole body sagged. As a fish leaps up from the weed-covered shallows and falls back into the dark waves when the north wind ripples the waters, so the blow lifted Euryalus off the ground. Great-hearted Epeius gave him a hand and set him on his legs. His companions gathered round and led him off through the gathering on trailing feet, spitting clots of blood, with his head lolling to one side. He was still groggy when they put him down among his own people. They had to go and fetch the two-handled cup themselves. Achilles, son of Peleus, immediately laid out and displayed before the Greeks the prizes for the third event, the wrestling, a dangerous sport. For the winner, there was a big three-legged cauldron to stand over a fire. It was worth 12 oxen by the Greeks' reckoning, and for the loser he brought forward a woman thoroughly trained in domestic work, whom they valued at 4 oxen. Achilles rose and addressed the Greeks. "Come forward 2 men to compete for this prize." Wait, a woman is worth less than a fricking pot. Wow. I mean, a woman's not a bloody possession, but still, that's something. Okay. "Come forward 2 men to compete for this prize." So he spoke, and great Ajax, son of Telamon, rose at once, and so did quick-thinking Odysseus, who knew all the tricks. The two girded themselves up, stepping into the middle of the gathering and gripping each other's arms with their powerful hands, like the sloping gable rafters that an expert builder locks together in the roof of a high house to resist the wind. Their backs creaked under the massive pressure exerted by their great arms. The sweat streamed down them, and blood-red wheels sprang up all along their sides and shoulders. And still they struggled on for victory and the fine cauldron, because nobody cares about the woman. But Odysseus was no more able to trip his man and bring him to the ground than Ajax could master Odysseus's great strength. After some time, when they began to bore the troops, great Ajax, son of Telamon, said, "Olympian-born son of Laertes, resourceful Odysseus, either you lift me or I'll lift you. We'll leave the rest to Zeus." With these words he lifted Odysseus off the ground, but Odysseus's craft did not desert him. He caught Ajax with a kick from behind in the hollow of the knee. unbalanced him, and dumped him on his back, himself falling on Ajax's chest. The gathering looked on in astonishment. Now all-daring god like Odysseus had to try a lift. He shifted Ajax just a little off the ground, but could not raise him. So he crooked a leg round Ajax's knee, and they both fell down side by side and were smothered in dust. They jumped up and would have tried for a third time if Achilles himself had not risen to his feet and interposed. "End the fight and don't wear yourselves out with your exertions. You have both won. Share out the prizes equally and withdraw, so that other Greeks can compete." I don't know how you're supposed to share a pot and a woman between two people, but sure. So he spoke, and they heard and agreed. After wiping off the dust, they put on their tunics. Achilles, son of Peleus, went on at once to lay out the prizes for the foot race. A silver mixing bowl of fine workmanship holding 6 measures. It was the loveliest thing in the world, a masterpiece of craftsmanship which had been shipped across the misty seas from Sidon by Phoenician traders and presented as a gift to Lord Thoas when they put in at his port. Then Euneus, son of Jason, that's a frickin' easy name, thank you, had given it to the warrior Patroclus in return for Lycaon, Priam's son. And now Achilles laid it out as a prize in honour of his dead companion to the man who should come first in the foot race. He offered the runner-up a large, well-fattened ox, and the third half a talent of gold. Achilles rose and addressed the Greeks. "Come forward, the men to compete for this prize." So he spoke, and swift-footed Ajax, son of Oileus, immediately rose. So too did quick-thinking Odysseus and Nestor's son Antilochus, who was the fastest of the younger men. The 3 of them lined up side by side, and Achilles pointed out the turning post. They went flat out from the start. Ajax, son of Oileus, soon shot ahead, but godlike Odysseus stuck close behind, like the rod near the breast of a girdled weaving woman. What is girdled? She carefully draws it along with her hands to get the spool out past the warp and brings it right up to her breast. So close was Odysseus behind Ajax, his feet falling in Ajax's tracks before the dust had settled down again. And he kept up so well that his breath fanned Ajax's head. He was desperate to win, and all the Greeks cheered him on, shouting encouragement to a man who was doing all he could already. As they drew near the finish, Odysseus offered up a silent prayer to grey-eyed Athene. "Hear me, goddess, be kind and help me, come and speed my feet." So he spoke in prayer, and Pallas Athene heard him and lightened his feet, arms, and all his limbs. The runners had the prize almost in their grasp when Ajax, at full stretch, slipped and fell. Athene had put him out of action. That's cheating again. And it happened where the ground was littered with dung, oh dear, from the lowing cattle that was slaughtered by swift-footed Achilles for Patroclus's funeral. So Ajax had his mouth and nostrils filled with cattle dung, while all-daring godlike Odysseus, having caught him up and finished, carried off the silver bowl. Illustrious Ajax took possession of the farmyard ox. He stood there with his hands on one of the animal's horns, and, as he spat out dung, said to the Greeks, "Damn it! It was the goddess that tripped me up, the one who always dances attendance on Odysseus like a mother." So he spoke, and they all laughed delightedly at him. And now Antilochus came in. He took the last prize with a smile and said to the Greeks, "Friends, I'll tell you all something you know already. The gods still favour the elder man, for though Ajax is only a little older than myself, Odysseus over there is the product of an earlier generation, a positive throwback. But, as they say, there's life in the old dog yet, and it's a hard job to beat him in a race for any of us but Achilles." So he spoke, and complimented swift-footed Achilles. Achilles replied to him and said, "Antilochus, I cannot allow your tribute to go unrewarded. You've won a half-talent of gold already. Here's another." With these words he handed the gold to Antilochus, who received it with delight. Achilles, son of Peleus, now produced and laid out, in the gathering, a long-shadowed spear, a shield, and a helmet, the arms that Patroclus had taken from Sarpedon. He rose and addressed the Greeks. "We now invite our 2 best men to fight each other for these prizes before the assembled troops. They must put on their armour and use naked weapons. To the one who first hits the other's fine flesh, I will give this lovely silver-riveted Thracian sword, which I took from Asteropaeus. The armour here will be shared between the combatants, and I will also give them a magnificent feast in my hut." So he spoke, and great Ajax, son of Telamon, rose up, as did Tydeus' son, mighty Diomedes. Each armed himself on his own side of the gathering, and the pair advanced on each other in the centre, in fighting mood and glaring daggers. And all the Greeks looked on, spellbound. When they had come within range of each other, they charged 3 times, and when they had tried 3 lunges at each other, Ajax succeeded in piercing Diomedes' round shield. But the spear failed to reach his flesh. He was saved by the body armour underneath. It was now Diomedes' turn. Thrusting repeatedly above the rim of Ajax's large shield, he tried to hit him on the neck with his glittering spear point. That's a bit dangerous. The Greeks were so terrified for Ajax that they called on the combatants to stop and share the prizes. However, Achilles awarded Diomedes the great sword, which he handed to him with its sheath and well-cut shoulder strap. Then Achilles, son of Peleus, laid out a lump of cast iron, which powerful Eetion used to throw, and which had been carried off on board ship with his other possessions by swift-footed godlike Achilles after he had killed him. Achilles rose and addressed the Greeks. "Come forward, the men, to compete for this prize. This lump is big enough to keep the winner in iron for 5 years or more, even if his farm is out in the wild. It will not be lack of iron that sends his shepherd or his ploughman into town. It will provide all his needs." So he spoke, and resolute Polypoetes rose, as did godlike powerful Leonteus, Ajax, son of Telamon, and godlike Epeius. They stood in a row, and godlike Epeius picked up the weight, whirled it round, and let it fly. But all the Greeks only laughed at his effort. Leonteus, ally of the war god, was the next to throw. Then great Ajax, son of Telamon, hurled it from his mighty hand, and passed the marks of all the others. But when it came to resolute Polypoetes' turn, he overshot the whole field by the distance a herdsman can hurl his throwing stick when he sends it spinning among the herd of cows. The crowd erupted, and mighty Polypoetes' men got up and carried off their master's prize to the hollow ships. Then Achilles laid out grey iron as a prize for archery, 10 double-headed and 10 single-headed axes. He set up the mast of a blue-prowed ship a long way off in the sands, and he had a timid dove tied to it by the foot with a thin cord. He instructed them to make this their target. The man who hits the timid dove can take the whole set of double-headed axes home with him. If anyone's hits the string and not the bird, he won't have done so well, but he can take the single axes. So he spoke, and mighty Lord Teucer rose, as did Meriones, Idomeneus's brave attendant, and shook lots in a bronze helmet. It fell to Teucer to shoot first, and he quickly let an arrow fly with tremendous force. But he had forgotten to promise Lord Apollo an impressive offering of firstborn lambs, and failed to hit the bird. Apollo grudged him that success. Yet he did strike the cord by which the bird was tethered near the foot. The sharp arrow severed the string, and the dove shot up into the sky, leaving the string dangling down. The Greeks roared, but Meriones, who had been holding an arrow ready while Teucer aimed, immediately snatched the bow from Teucer's hands and promptly vowed an impressive offering of firstborn lambs to the archer god Apollo. He saw the timid dove fluttering high overhead beneath the clouds, and as it circled there, he hit it from below, plumb in the wing. His arrow went clean through and fell back to stick in the earth in front of his feet, while the bird managed to settle on the mast of the blue-prowed ship, with wings drooping and head down. In a moment it was dead, and fell all the way to the ground from the masthead. The spectators looked on in astonishment. Meriones carried off the set of 10 double axes, and Teucer took the single axes to the hollow ships. Finally, Achilles, son of Peleus, brought into the gathering and laid out a long-shadowed spear and an unused cauldron embossed with flowers, worth an ox. The spear throwers rose to compete, and wide-ruling Agamemnon, Atreus' son, and Meriones, Idomeneus' brave attendant, why do you keep saying that, stood up. But swift-footed, godlike Achilles spoke to them. Lord Agamemnon, we know by how much you excel the rest of us, and that in throwing the spear no one can compete with your prowess. Accept this prize and take it with you to the hollow ships. If you are agreeable, let us give Meriones the spear. That is what I propose. So he spoke, and Agamemnon, lord of men, complied, gave Meriones the bronze spear, and then handed his own beautiful prize to his herald Talthybius.